Hello and welcome to the Fiber Tales podcast. This is episode 15. Yay! I can't believe I've been doing it for 15 episodes already. My name is Lærke and this is a knitting podcast mainly. I am a knitwear designer as well, so I talk about designing a lot on this podcast, but also just what I've been doing and yarn I love and living in the countryside, and yeah, whatever comes to my mind that I want to share with you, I like to share. Yes, I am coming to you from the southern part of Fyn in Denmark, which is the second biggest island, and today is a beautiful sunny day. I am really enjoying fall. It's the 9th of October and you can really see the change outside. I always start talking about the weather because that's an easy topic and then I don't have to just to get into it. What has happened since the last time we spoke? I've been, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but I've been really surprised and in a positive way about the reaction to my Hyllebær shawl that I showed in the last episode. I have never designed a shawl before, and actually I haven't knit that many shawls because I don't know. I just haven't. I don't know. I've been knitting garments and other things, and it was just, I've been getting the most lovely feedback on that shawl, and it's been super exciting for me. I never know what to expect when I show a new pattern, and I was just really happy reading all the nice comments on the YouTube video and on my Instagram. I'm working on the pattern. I'm a bit busy at the moment, so I just have to kind of focus it on one thing at the time, and right now I'm trying to get myself into gear to release the Fjer cardigan that I showed you before, and then once that's released I think I will call for testers for the other one, because if not it gets too much, especially the whole setting up testing and organizing and not losing track of what is happening. I guess I feel like it's getting better the more I do it, but it is also a challenge, so yeah, I'm trying not to overwhelm myself. I also have other things going on that I cannot talk to you about, but I will reveal for you later on. That is super exciting, and it has been a little bit stressful for various reasons. I will tell you all about it when I can. I just wanted to say thank you, a huge thank you for all the sweet comments and the enthusiasm about the shawl. One thing I want to say though is I've been getting quite a few comments about test knitting, and I will make a call about test knitting. So even though I appreciate that you write me that you would like to test, I cannot keep track of who has been writing me when and where. So it's not because I don't want you to test if I don't answer or I don't tell you that you can test, but I will make a call and I will put that up in the Instagram, in the Ravelry group that is also Fiber Tales, because it's just so much easier to do it all at once and keep it together, and I won't miss out on anybody. So that's how it's gonna be. So just so you know, in case you wrote me about testing, it's not that I don't want you to test, it's just when I make the call, you have to be there, and I will announce it on Instagram, but the testing will be organized through Ravelry. Ways to find me everywhere is just search for Fiber Tales. On Instagram it's Fiber Tales, on here on YouTube, and on Ravelry. Those are the places I do. But yes, I wanted to talk to you about what I've been doing since the last time I podcasted, and I went on Saturday. Was it Saturday or Sunday? Saturday, it was Saturday. I went to the city where I used to live in Odense, and I met up with two of my really great knitting friends, knitting buddies, Heidi and Sophie, and we had a little lane date, knitting date, because they were going to pick up the new Lane magazine, and so we just thought it would be nice to go together and make a little get together out of it. So we went to the shop in Odense called Pure Pope. If you ever go to Odense, it's there are two knitting shops. One is called Pure Pope, and she mainly has Isaia yarn and Filcolana and yeah, that kind of stuff. And then there's the other one that is called Tante Grøn, and they have their own yarn brand and other stuff, more like hedgehog fibers and more colorful and a little more popular stuff. So it's actually nice. We have two different style knitting shops in Odense. So we went to Pure Pope, and my friends had ordered some of the older issues, so we had, I think, 4 different issues that we brought with us to a small cafe and had lunch and coffee and just sat there and knit and talked, and it was absolutely wonderful. I really needed a day like that, because now I'm working from home and sometimes it's just amazing to get out of the house. I mean, I also work out, I teach, but like for a longer time and just for fun, and by myself, which is also nice to do sometimes. It was really nice to meet up with these two girls. I haven't seen them, I don't see them as often as I would like to. We're all busy with our lives, but yeah, it's very nice to have knitting friends. I actually didn't used to have any knitting friends. I got some few questions about having where you meet knitting friends, and it's funny because those two girls were my neighbors where I used to live, and I knew they were knitting, but you don't always know, like, I'm sorry, I get really distracted because it sounded like a car was coming. No, I was just saying that I knew that these girls were knitters. One I met at the local knitting cafe, and the other one I knew she was knitting, but I guess it's the Danish way, you don't just jump on each other. So it took some time to figure out that we all had a very similar style, or like the same, we like good quality yarns and really nice patterns and lane, for example, and stuff. So yeah, it took some time, but now we have found each other, and it's really wonderful. I just wanted to say, if you don't have any knitting friends, because I didn't have any knitting friends for the longest time, not until, yeah, up until I was 30. And if you don't have any knitting friends, it might be just around the corner. It's just really hard to know, and sometimes it's hard to approach each other, but a good way is to going to the local knitting cafe and just keep going, even though you might not find people that you think like a friend or friend potential or something. Just once in a while a new person shows up, and yeah, it's meeting new knitters is a lot of fun. So I just wanted to talk about that, but I did a little mini vlog thing on Insta stories, because I am not doing Vlogtober, but watching the other knitters doing Vlogtober, I kind of thought it's nice to see a little bit what you're up to, and I had this knitting date coming up, so I did a little story and actually saved it in my Instagram story, so you can go and watch it. It's in the saved stories when you enter my profile, and it was just really lovely. And they talk about the nice sweaters they're wearing, and yeah. I don't know, I think I will be doing more vlogs like that whenever I feel like I'm in the mood or there's something to show, because I think it's fun. I would like to try also sometimes to do it for the like some kind of vlogging series, so let me know if it's something you would be interesting to see. I don't know about Christmas, but maybe I could be convinced. It would probably not be every day, but I could probably be convinced to do something like that. It's a little bit different talking to my phone when I'm out and about, but I'm getting better at it. I'm trying not to feel too self-conscious, so yeah. So I have a finished object for this week's episode. It's a little design that kind of popped into my head that I didn't plan to make. I just wanted to make some fingerless mitts. This is the back. I'm not gonna show you the front at the moment. This is the back. They're being tested. I did a little quick call for testers. I really wanted to make a pair of mitts. I didn't find anything that was just what I wanted, and then I just thought, okay, could be fun to try to design mitts. These are really simple. I didn't have, sometimes I have like a more, I have this vision of what I want to make, and I had this for these. I did a little sketch, and actually they ended up looking like the sketch, but it was in a little bit of a different way. But I really like how they turned out. They have a really nice fit. I can try to show without showing the front, because that's where the main details are. I like them to be quite snug. I use them for biking. And this yarn is Tukuwool fingering. I have it over here. No? Where did I put it? Just a second. I have a skein of the Tukuwool here. It's the sock base. They have two bases, the fingering and a sock. This one is the Ujo colorway, and it's a very nice mauvey, pinkish, purplish. Like for me, it has this heathery color, like heather. It's called heather, yeah. And it's just really wonderful, very rustic. It has what does it say? 80% finish wool and 20% polyamide, because it's a sock yarn. But I think it will be very useful for the mitts as well, as you can. I will have a lot of wear on the hands. Yeah, so they're being tested. I just started the test. It should be really quick. They took me no time to make, and then I will have a little pattern out in between all the bigger patterns that take a lot more brain space for me. Yes, I'm really happy about that, and that's my only finished object for this week. I cast on something new last night, and it went really, really quick. This is the, see if I can show a little bit. This is the sock I cast on last night, and I pretty much did the whole cuff in one sitting. I was a bit crazy. I feel like I was a bit crazy. Normally I don't knit socks in this way. Now there's a car. Okay, so I'm back. It was the mailman, and I'm expecting some packages, so I wanted to go down in case I had to sign anything, but there was nothing exciting in the mail. What I was talking about was this pair of socks. Yeah, so I went a bit crazy and knit the whole cuff and foot, leg yesterday until the heel, and I am knitting it in this yarn that I got from that is this Tweedy self-striping yarn. It's from Lana Grossa. I don't know, the website is Filati, but I don't know the full brand. And this yarn is called Meilenweit. My German is not so great. But what is nice, it's a 1x1, which means I guess there are two socks and they should be identical. And this is the Scandic color. And I was looking for a tweed yarn on their website. I was looking for tweed yarn in general, which I will talk a little bit more about. And I found this, and I was just curious to see what it would look like. It's always hard to see in the pictures, because like this picture is not gonna tell me much about this yarn, I feel. So it's a funny yarn because it's striping like two very gray, warm grays on the top, and then there's a little more contrast between these three, and then there's a pinkish, like peachy light pink, and then there's a cream color. And I don't know how I feel about the cream color, to be honest. I actually wish, I don't know, but I thought about removing it when I got to it today, and I think I will just leave it in because these socks are supposed to be quick socks. I just need something warm to wear around the house. I don't want to be fiddling around with trying to remove colors and stuff. So yeah, but I was excited to see how it would knit up, and it came with this very hot pink yarn on the outside, and I got a bit scared, but it was just to know where to start. And I guess I could use it for my daughter or something, like a little contrasty color. Yeah, and so far I really like the yarn. It's 80% wool, 20% polyamide, so just like the Tukuwool. It's a bit thinner. It's a very typical sock yarn thickness, but it has all the little tweedy bits all around. And I think it's very fun. It's actually Okotex, this little brand. It's about how it's produced, which I think it's well, it's tested for harmful substances, so I think that's nice. I'm knitting it on 2.25 millimeter needles from Chiago, and these are the 9-inch circulars that I was sent very kindly by Maria from Ninja Chickens when I talked about wanting to try out some 9-inch, and she didn't like them, so that was actually really nice. I'm still trying to get used to them, but as you can see, it worked out pretty okay, and I think the knitting is very even, so it's a little bit on the hands. I find myself, because when you hold it, you don't have much space, right? And I find myself sometimes sitting like in a very awkward position, pulling it to the side. I don't know if it's also the belly, because I cannot hold them as I usually would, but I think I'm just like tensing up a little bit when I'm knitting on them, so I have to be careful not to get some kind of, not injury, but yeah, I have to be a little careful when I sit and do such long stretches of knitting with these needles, that I'm not too tense. Yeah, so this is, I did a 64 stitch cast on and some 2x2 ribbing, a little like a garter or reverse stockinette row, just to, it will look much nicer when it's blocked. I've done this before, and it just makes a nice little transition. And then I realized after some time, I did the 64 stitches for two reasons. Last time, I think it was last time I did a pair of socks for myself, I did 60, and I was really happy with that, but it was in the Mondim yarn, and that's a little bit thicker when you touch it. And also I did it on a 2.5 millimeters, so I was not sure if I should do a 64 or a 60 stitch count, and I realized I prefer, it was a little big, so I changed it to a 64. I just did 4 increases all around. Don't know if you can see them, just like knit 2 together. Yeah, and I'm gonna do the same on the other sock, just so they will be the same instead of ribbing back. So I'm at 60 stitches now, and I did an Eye of Patridge. Patridge? I'm not so sure how to say that. Every time I'm not sure, I will mumble and say it very quietly so nobody can hear. But yeah, I did the heel with slip stitches, but instead of doing the normal slip stitches that like creates little rows, you do them, how you say, you switch from one side to the other. Yeah, look it up, it's really easy to do, but it creates this very, very beautiful like diamond pattern. So I really like that. I'm gonna do that again. It's just, for me, just as easy as doing the normal slip stitch heel, and it creates a very nice squishy heel. Don't know if you can see on the inside. Yeah, it has a lot of, because it's slipped. And what else do I want to say? Yeah, I'm actually writing down a bit what I'm doing, so if I want to make a sock pattern, I remember a little bit more how I like, yeah, the outlines of the sock to be. So that's the sock. I'm gonna finish it probably very soon because I'm really in the mode for socks. And yeah, let me talk about the rest of the socks I got. I have them in this this net, and of course, because I was being a little bit silly and took an Instagram picture of the socks, I took off all the ball bands because I think they're ugly. And sometimes ball bands can be really nice, but these ones from Lana Grossa, I'm not a fan. I mean, they look like all the other big knitting brands, so yeah, not a fan. But I need to keep them because I don't want to get confused about the colorways. I got 6 skeins in this package because I'm really in the Tweedy sock mode. I got this beautiful sock, like brownish color that you know that I like, cinnamon, golden, autumn, and it's so nice and tweedy. I don't know which color it is, so I will show you all the ball bands at the end, and then if you look them up, one of them, there are 4 of the Tweedy colors, so one of them will fit with this one, and if I have time I might sit down and write it down in the show notes. But this is the one of them. Then I got a black, which I think is really nice because normally I would never buy black yarn, but this has such a nice brown and golden Tweedy specks, so these 2. And then I got one in a pink, I guess it's like a very rosy blush color. It looks more warm on the screen. It's a little more pale in real life. I wish it was a little paler even, but I still think it's nice with the tweed. Everything looks better in tweed. I'm not a big fan of, if this was just like a plain pink I wouldn't like it, but yeah, I like when there's some kind of, I think what I really like about tweed is that it reminds me of like little imperfections, and I think that makes everything more beautiful. So, and I got natural creamy white with the same specs. So I have these 4, and I think they're very beautiful, and I have some plans with these, so I will try to, yeah, there will be something coming up with these 4, and I'm looking forward to playing with these colors. Yeah, so let me just show real quick. There's this colorway, that one, then there is this colorway, and there's this colorway, and this one. But really, if you go into the Lana Grossa Filati website and you look for the sock yarn, they have one called Tweed, and they will have the colors there. They don't have that, there are not that many colors, so you should be able to find the ones I showed, but in case you are interested to have the exact color, those are the colors. Oops. And they're the same, 80% wool, 20% polyamide. So yeah, nice and simple socks. And I got one more ball, which is this one. It didn't look so dark on the website, but I still think I like it. It is not tweedy, but it has like a very tweed-like effect. Little specks of browns and grays, warm browns and grays on a light gray base. And I think these would be nice for men. If I have to knit socks for my dad or my boyfriend, even though he never wants me to knit anything for him because he feels like it's not worth it because he ruins it, and yeah. But I have, and this one is the it's called Rustico, and it is where did I see it? The color is here. I never bought anything from Lana Grossa before, I don't think, and I think I like it for socks. I'm not so interested in the other yarns, but for socks it's the kind of sturdy, same as Regia, I think, same as a lot of the typical sock yarns. Just a nice sturdy yarn, and really for socks that's great, and they are super wash, all of them. But it's nice that they can be washed in the machine, so in this way I'm okay with it. Normally I talk about that I don't really like superwash, and I don't. I asked on Instagram if anyone knew about Tweedy sock yarn that was non-superwash, and I got a lot of good suggestions, but everything turned out to be superwash. Even the ones that are hand dyed, they are dyed on a superwash base, and I don't know what it is, but you can find tweed yarn that is non-superwash, but not the sock versions. I would love to have something like this, tweedy. Tukuwool, are you hearing me? Or I don't know who should make it, but I would just love something tweedy. I've been really, I don't know if it's the fall or what happens, but I have a general love for tweedy yarns, but right now it's getting a little out of hand. Everything I buy is tweed, and I knit tweed, and I showed last time I was wearing the big cardigan. That one is a tweed yarn. My Fier cardigan that I made out of Uist wool is also a tweedy kind. It is not the same way as, oops, not this one. It's not exactly the same as this, where you have like the knobs very defined. It's more like an all over tweed effect. I knit with this yarn, which is the Alafosslopi from Uist. This is a very nice tweed. It's only a two-tone tweed, so like a grey with black. I really like when there's the little warm specks in it. I bought this yarn that I showed you last time. This is from Geilsk. It's also a tweed yarn. It's a very similar yarn to the one I made my Skovmærker sweater in. So as you can see, there's a theme, because 2 out of my garment designs have used tweed yarn, and the shawl I knit, the Hyllebær shawl, is also knit in a tweedy style yarn. I really like the little imperfections. I think that's what really attracts me to the tweed. It's a bit like when you see the speckled hand-dyed yarns, but made in a natural way. And I feel like if you look on wool, that's what wool looks like. Wool doesn't look uniform and one color. The sheep don't look that way. I mean, maybe there are some sheep, but they are normally bred to be very uniform in the fleece. So I really like that little imperfections. And I'm running out of breath. Yeah, so just a little tea break to catch my breath. I speak too much and I run out of breath. If you have any suggestions on natural tweedy yarns, like non-superwash or just anything more rustic, I would be really interested to know. A lot of times I find that the tweeds are superwash or something similar. I was so happy when I found the Uist wool, the Canach yarn, because that is a very beautiful natural tweed yarn. It's probably my favorite I've found so far. Unfortunately, it's not very easy to come across, so it makes it harder. I think that's all I wanted to say about tweedy yarns, but I love tweedy yarns, and I tweed don't know why I say Tweedy. That's the bird in the cartoon. Yeah, I really love tweed yarns, so I think I would stop talking about tweed yarns, but you will hear much more about my love for wool with specks in the future, I'm sure. So other than that, I've been knitting away on the big blob that is my Plötulopi. It's not looking too nice. Plötulopi project. I'm just knitting on it. Right now it's the body, so it's just straight knitting, but it's really nice TV knitting or knitting to bring along, although it's not so easy to take out, but I've been really happy bringing that with me wherever I've been going, and yeah, I will update you on that when it's more close to being done, because it's design and I don't want to share too much, as always. I feel like I have a lot of little breaks. I'm so sorry. This time I have a very little time window to film this, and it makes me not so calm as I normally am. I actually don't have that much more knitting to show, but I wanted to show you something else I'm gonna do if I get time for it. So just a second. I have, again, if you follow me on Instagram, I have shown a little clip of I'm setting up a workspace up here on the second floor, and I will maybe try to include some pictures of it because I'm super excited. Workspace as in I'm setting up a sewing table, but I also want to make it into, I want to have 2 desks, one for sewing and crafting and the other one for my computer and pattern writing and so on. So I'm really happy we have a lot of space here, because I've been dreaming of having enough space to put out all my yarn in some kind of system and my fabric and so on. I haven't been sewing for the longest time. I feel like sewing takes up so much time that I find it hard to start because I don't have big chunks of time, or I feel like I waste time if I spend big chunks of time on sewing, as it's just for fun. But I downloaded this one. Here it's a sleeveless, but there are different versions. It's the Hinterland Dress, and I really wanted to knit something a bit like the one I'm wearing. I don't know if you can see, it has buttons. This one actually annoys me because it has this little part sticking up. Yeah, so like a button down, simple dress that I can wear, maybe if I'm gonna get it done while I'm still pregnant, and also once the baby's here for breastfeeding. It's very nice with the buttons. So yeah, I downloaded that pattern from Sew Liberated, and I'm really excited to make it. I just need to get the right fabric, and I've been looking on different websites, but I find it really hard to buy fabric on websites. Many times I get a little disappointed, or it's not exactly what I thought it was, which is probably more my fault because I don't know, I don't have such a broad knowledge on fabric and weights and so on. But I wanted to sew that pattern. I've been looking on Meter, which is a Danish website, and if you have any suggestions on websites where I could look maybe for some linen yarn, that would be very nice. Again, I prefer something that is a little more interesting, like not too plain, but not too patterned. So it's really hard for me to find exactly what I think about. I would prefer to buy something from Denmark, I think, because it's just to save on costs, or from Europe. Fabric can be really expensive, so just to save a little bit on the costs at the moment. If not, I will have to try. Tomorrow I go into Odense, and maybe there's a big yarn shop. Yeah, they have yarn too, but it's a fabric shop called Stuff and Steel, and I will try to go in there and see if they have anything fitting. Maybe not, maybe a cheaper yarn, so I can try to make one version first and then see how I like it. I also have to do some adjustments because the bust is for C cup, I think, and I'm definitely not a C cup. But I saw a video on YouTube of how to do a small bust adjustment, and I will try to follow that. So that's gonna be interesting. It looked funny. It was something about cutting into the pattern piece and moving the paper around and creating a new pattern. So that's gonna be fun to try. I would love to do some sewing. It's been a while, so yeah. Let me just check the time. Yeah, I have to get going and pick up my daughter from kindergarten. So this will just be a short and sweet episode about my love of tweed yarn mainly. Yeah, if you feel like, come and join the Ravelry group. There's the Tiny Knits Cal going on where we knit baby garments and for toddlers as well, and that's a lot of fun. There's a lot of pictures in the finished object thread and progress, the works in progress thread. You can see what people are making, and I will have some exciting stuff, as I said, coming in the mail, so hopefully next time I can show you some of that. I hoped it would come before, but I really wanted to just sit down and talk to you, and that's all I have to say for this week. I hope you are doing really well, and until next time, bye!